Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to today's daily analysis. The current date is the 27th of June, and we'll be talking about the analysis that was sent out this morning, as well as the news that will be happening for the next 2 days until the end of the week, and what we could potentially expect to happen in the market for the next 2 days leading up into next week. Right, so the first thing we do, as usual, is we look at our news events. And as we saw from yesterday already, let me just grab this. There we go. There we go. So here we can see we have some high impact news about to come out in the next hour at 2 p.m. today, which is currently an hour from our current time, as well as we'll have some high impact news at 2:30, right, affecting the euro as well as affecting the dollar. Right, so knowing that the euro and the dollar could potentially be affected within the next 2 hours, quite a big, it could be affected quite dramatic. Sorry, just need to sort this out. Okay, so we could see quite a big effect happen on the news. However, again, it could also have no effect on the news. We will not know that until the news event comes out. But for now, we can at least keep in mind that at that specific times that these currency pairs could be affected. It could potentially spike you out, or could potentially spike you out either on a stop loss or a take profit if your trade is currently running. Right, and as we look into tomorrow, we can see we have some Japanese news at 10 to 2 in the morning, 10 to 2 a.m. Right, Japanese, as well as we have some pound news at 10:30 tomorrow morning. So this will be the first major news event I'll be taking note of from tomorrow. As I've said in the past, I don't focus on these news events, right, as the time of the news events are early hours of the morning, and that is the time we're supposed to be sleeping and not trading, right? But just keep in mind that there could potentially be spikes in the market around these times. And as we go further into the day, we see that we've got some more high impact news events happening around the pound, and then 2 events at the exact same time at 11 happening on the euro. And the pound news will be coming out at 10:30. As you can see, all the points I'm highlighting is the important points in which we focus at: date, time, currency, the type of news, and the impact it's going to have. Right, we can go further on through the day, and we can see we have, last but not least, later on in the day, we have US news coming out at 4 p.m. and this will affect the United States dollar, and it will be a high impact news event. Okay, let's move over to our charts. So we can keep in mind that for the next 2 days, well, for the rest of today and for tomorrow, we could expect a bit of news on the dollar and on the euro. There is a little bit of news on the pound. However, it's only one news event happening tomorrow at 10:30, as well as this one news event happening on the JPY at 10 to 2 in the morning. Right, so first thing I do is I grab my dollar index just to get a rough idea of where the potential momentum for the dollar lies. Is it going to be a bullish or bearish momentum, right? As we can see on our daily chart, we still have this bull channel coming from our weekly potential bear flag pull that's happening over here, right? And as we see here at this level, our support level, we've had nice exhaustion, as well as the market pushing away from this level, potentially showing us that the market wants to continue trading bullish with the momentum of this bull channel. This bull channel has been running from the start of the channel till today's current day. It's 294 days this market has been running bullish, right? So trading with the trend, it's more likely going to continue in our direction than it is to go the opposite way. If it's been trading for 294 days bullish, there's more chance it will continue to trade bullish than it is it would start to trade bearish. Right? There's all this momentum trying to push this market further up. It's not to say that the market can't come down, or that it's at a key level where it potentially wants to continue trading bearish now, or switch over to trading bearish. But to trade with the trend, to trade with this bull momentum, you're putting yourself at a bigger advantage. You're giving yourself more of an edge into the market as you're trading with the trend. Remember, the trend is your friend. Right? Then I'll go down into my lower time frames just to see how market structure is forming. We've got let me just take away this previous line. There we go. So if we look at how market structure is forming right now, we've got this bull channel starting to form, right? The levels of support all lining up, and the market is starting to make higher lows as well as higher highs. So there's our first lower low, because there hasn't been a higher low since, and this would have been seen as our first higher low, with our second higher low currently forming right now, possibly forming. Right? It hasn't formed yet, so we can't say if it has or not. We can only speculate that this will potentially be another higher low, as well as we've got higher highs all the way up, creating this bull channel. So from what I've analyzed now, we could potentially, remember, I don't personally trade the dollar index. I just use it to find out potential movement for the dollar, and what it looks like now at this level of support, where we've also got a P equals F, with this past resistance over here has been seen as support. Right, past resistance seen as support at this level as well. There's a high probability that this market could potentially push up from this direction, going back to the top of the channel. Right, so from knowing that, we could speculate that the dollar could potentially strengthen. We can also speculate a time, even though we can't add a time to the markets. If I just take the amount of time that the previous impulse dropped, or the previous impulse took, right, to our current impulse, it took 12 days. And this also says 12 days. So we can speculate plus minus the next 12 days. I'm not saying it's going to be 12 days. If the market has a lot of volume, it could take 3 days, it could take 7 days, it could take 9 days, it could even take 1 day, right? If there's no volume, again, it could take longer than 12 days. So we're just giving a speculate a rough estimate of the amount of time it could potentially take, knowing that possibly the next 12 days we could see the dollar run bullish. And we come over to our pair that is most correlated with the dollar index, the Euro USD. Right, as we spoke about yesterday, there's a nice strong resistance level that this market has been fighting with for the past 4 days. The market has been fighting with this level for the past 4 days, unable to break it, starting to give wicks to the top, showing signs of candlestick exhaustion, showing signs of market exhaustion and deceleration, showing that there is a potential turnaround point happening right now to push this market further down. Right, we've also set up a first take profit potential area over here, as well as a second potential take profit area over here. If I go down into my lower time frame, again, I'm going to be looking for market structure. I'm going to be looking for lower lows or lower highs or higher lows, depending whether or not we're trading bullish or bearish. In this case, we're looking to trade bearish, so we'll be looking for the lower highs. And as I can see here, the market has made a high, then started to push down, right, creating a low. But if you look carefully, the market couldn't push further up to make a higher high. The market had made a lower high before turning around and starting to push down again. It then came to make a double bottom on this level of support, and now it pushed back up to come to our previous lower high, starting to create a range. Right, the market is starting to range at this level. So the market is starting to range within this, the support and this resistance. It's starting to move sideways, also creating a wedge, right? Possibly to extend it further bullish. Let me just grab the learner guide here so I can show you an example of what this pattern looks like. Let me just pull that away. Again, if you have any questions or any comments you want to make, you can pop me a message in the live chat. I will see it instantly and straight away, and I will be able to answer you straight away as well. Okay. Well, while we wait for that to open up, let me just show you another chart quickly. So this is pound dollar. Right, so on the pound dollar, I saw the market making higher highs and higher lows the entire time, right? The market then finally pushed down to a level that I was comfortable at to start. Remember, on the daily time frame, we do have a level of resistance here, right? As we spoke, there is a level of resistance here. The market pushed up to this level before dropping, pushed up again, and potentially wants to fall again, right? So that's on our daily time frame. If we go down into our lower time frame, we can speculate that we want to see the market falling from this level of resistance. So what I was looking for at this level of resistance is my first lower high. As you can see here, we've got higher highs, higher high, and a higher high. Just get rid of this level quickly. And then as well over here at the bottom, we've got higher lows being formed, right, creating a bull trend, creating a bull trend. And then for the first time at this level, the market had pushed down, as I said, to a level I was comfortable with, to finally see it potentially move up to give me my first lower high. So I took my fibs from my A down. I put in my lines first, support and resistance, and then a line from A down to B. I took my fib from B up to a level of A, and I found that at this level where I have P equals F, past resistance was then support, then from support now possibly resistance again. It's also lying dead on a 50 fib, right, which was a very strong fib level. And if we look at it in from another angle as well, we could potentially see this as a head and shoulders pattern, where we have the market having the left shoulder or the push up to this price level, then dropping down to a neckline, pushing further up to a head, right, making higher highs, and then dropping down back to the neckline before continuing to move to the right shoulder. So we've got the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, potentially to take this market further bearish. Right, as you can see, we have the A down to B, up to a level of C, possibly extending down to D. Normally, and not all the time, this is just something I've picked up, that normally that your impulse, after your impulse has happened, normally the second impulse or the extension is normally the same length as your original impulse. It's not always the case, as I've said. Sometimes it can be longer, sometimes it can be shorter. This is just on average what happens. Right, again, it's about the laws of probability. It's not always it's going to happen, but more than none it will happen, right? Okay, so let's just grab our EduInvest learner guide and we go back to the euro dollar. Let's just have a look at this euro dollar again. So we see the market impulsing to the upside and then starting to wedge towards the downside. Grab my EduInvest learner guide and we go to there we go, page 109. Page 109. And as you can see here, the pattern that we have identified is a falling wedge, right? A falling wedge, potentially to move bullish. Right, as you can see, it moves up, starts to wedge to the downside with support support in line with the highs getting lower, the lows staying on the same level, and then potentially to push to the upside. And as you see that pattern over here, let me just zoom in on the learner guide so you can see exactly which pattern I'm talking about. I'll highlight it as well. Where's my pen now? Oh, there we go. So this pattern over here, we're talking about this falling wedge. As you can see, the market impulses up, starts to trend bearish, but the bottoms aren't getting lower, and then extends bullish. Right? If we look at that pattern and we look at how this is busy forming, it's identical. Where we have this impulse up, the highs are getting lower and the bottoms are staying dead straight. We could potentially see this market push further up. So here I've given you two potential trading plans in the opposite directions. Notice how we're trading towards the euro and away from the dollar in this potential trade, as well as in this trade we're trading towards the dollar away from the pound. Right, I hope that added a little value to your trading system. I hope that helped you out a bit today with your analysis, and I hope that you could correlate your trades more or less with mine, and it gave you a clearer view on the market. Have a good day, traders, and enjoy the rest of your trading session. Thank you.